Good afternoon, everyone. Today is Tuesday, March 18th. The time is 3:14 PM, and I call the Board of Estimate and Contract regular monthly meeting into order. Can we have the roll call? Yeah.
Thank you. Comptroller Morton,
Here.
Council President Brown,
Here.
Mayor Patterson Howard.
Here. You can proceed with the agenda.
Right. Under resolutions approving ordinances, number one, Department of Management Services, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with OpenGov for the creation of a custom environment for the fire department.
So moved.
Second.
On the question,
Aye.
hearing none, roll call.
Comptroller Morton,
Aye.
Council President Brown,
Aye.
Mayor Patterson Howard.
Aye.
Number two, Department of Public Works, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to accept a grant from the New York State Environmental Facilities Corporation, EFC, for as needed services for sewer cleaning and closed circuit television CCTV inspection to support planning of capital improvement projects throughout the city of Mount Vernon sewer system, $1 million.
So moved.
Second.
On the question, hearing none, roll call.
Comptroller Morton,
Aye.
Council President Brown,
Aye.
Mayor Patterson Howard.
Aye.
Number three, Department of Public Works, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to accept a grant from the New York State Environmental Facilities Corporation, EFC, in the amount of $1,322,500 for upgrades and capital improvement to the city of Mount Vernon's Edison Avenue Pump Station. Same amount, $1,322,500.
So moved.
Second.
On the question, hearing none, roll call.
Comptroller Morton,
Aye.
Council President Brown,
Aye.
Mayor Patterson Howard.
Aye.
Number four, Department of Public Works, and ordinance authorizing payment to Petrillo Contracting, Inc. for emergency milling and paving of Bona Vista Drive, $38,000.
So moved.
Second.
On the question,
Was there an emergency declaration on it? Is this CHIPS and reimbursement?
CHIPS reimbursement, but that's in June.
Okay.
there was a break. There was a sewer break.
So there was an emergency declaration on it.
There was a sewer break
Huh?
for paving and milling.
Well, it wasn't just, I mean, once you go in, you have to pave and mill after, you might as well instead of just patching. But the 38 is just for the paving and milling. It's not for any sewer issues.
Right. So Commissioner Bush's explanation was that Con Ed went out and did part of the work. They were in the ground, they paved, and when he went out to inspect it, he decided that they should pave this street as well.
Okay, then I have the wrong location.
Yeah,
Okay.
part of this, so, I mean, I spoke about this at the council meeting.
Mhm.
I believe that this was procured, it wasn't procured correctly. But I voted on council and they approved it. But, there's no justification, in my opinion, for it to be an emergency. It should have maybe been a change order to the current contract.
So we haven't expended our current contract, correct? I mean, we haven't expended the entire contract that we have for Petrillo.
Yeah,
So we're not going above, this payment wouldn't put us above what our contract is with them.
So from my understanding, the contract lists specific streets that are supposed to be milled and paved. This street was not included originally and he included it. So there should have been a change to the contract to reflect this street in the contract.
Okay, but it's not taking us above. Because I know we spent less on Fifth Avenue than we expected to spend, so. It's not bringing us over the allotted amount of the contract. That's what I was trying to gain an understanding of.
But the street wasn't included in the contract. is what I think
But
we know, right, that it needed to be a change
there
order.
needs to be a change to the contract.
I'm not sure if all of the streets were included in the contract, because some of the streets that we're doing for this year that are still under the same contract, we're just identifying. I know an amount and I know initial streets were identified, but I don't think every street under this contract was identified. So what is the will? Do y'all want to hold it? You want to pull it back? Do you have more questions? What are you gonna do?
Well, I do have questions about it because I'm trying to figure out, it says emergency milling, so the question was whether it actually had emergency declaration on it, but then I'm hearing that, right, that might not have been it. Also, question is do we have all of the streets named in the contract, or is it up to a certain amount in various streets? Does the actual contract say that? And I don't know. So is,
You want me to hold it for, want us to skip it for now and then call in Commissioner Bush so he can answer those questions?
at least get some more information.
Commissioner Perez, can you do me a favor? Can you ask them to call Commissioner Bush in? And we'll hold number 4 and come back to it.
Okay.
Number 5,
Okay. Number 5, Department of Public Works, an ordinance amending ordinance number 4 adopted by the City Council on September 11, 2024, entitled an ordinance authorizing Mayor Sean Patterson Howard to commit a local match for the Green Initiative Grant Program, CIGP, for the South 4th Street Park Green Infrastructure Project and confirming the project's type 2 exemption under ECL Article 8.
So moved.
Second,
on the question?
so the match is coming out of this grant that is $675,000. That what? Confirming, that's what I'm understanding, right? And we already accepted this grant?
Mhm.
Okay. So and we've confirmed that the match can come out of that,
And that it's eligible.
it's eligible. Okay, and that grant is a reimbursable grant, right?
Yes.
So you guys should be mindful because that's a matter of how we is, right, cash flowing on it. Okay.
Roll call?
Comptroller Morton,
Aye.
Council President Brown,
Aye.
Mayor Patterson Howard.
Aye.
Number 6, Department of Public Works, an ordinance authorizing a budget line transfer to cover costs associated with the purchase of a combination vacuum truck.
So moved.
Okay.
On the question? Hearing none, roll call?
Comptroller Morton,
Aye.
Council President Brown,
Aye.
Mayor Patterson Howard.
Aye.
So before we move on, go back up to just a clarifying question. Number 2 and number 3, both of those grants that we accepted are reimbursables or those advance pays?
Well, these are monies that come from EFC. So they're part of the $150 million EFC grant that we're just drawing down on. And I know for the sewer truck, the
combo truck,
Mhm.
and that one we received funding for.
Yeah.
That one we've paid.
And for the Edison Avenue pump station, that's not reimbursable, that's advance.
Okay.
And I think for the CCTV, so remember they have like the $5 million fund that they allow us to use as rotation
Mhm.
through the EFC grant? This is covered through that. So we're just drawing down part of that $5 million portion of the $150 million grant.
So once we accept this grant, number 3, right, which is the one for the Edison Avenue, we accept it, I guess, and we, execute the contract, then they send us the money?
Thanks, they should.
Yeah, and well, I have to ask Commissioner Bush because I don't think this should be necessarily a separate contract. It's just it's them approving us using the $150 million grant that we have for this purpose.
Which number are you talking about?
Increase to the existing.
It's not an increase, it's just a portion of it.
Number 3, but there's a agreement there, the Mount Vernon funding agreement is attached. So Johan, do we need this agreement or no?
Is this part of the 150 or is it just a sub-agreement under the 150?
Let me confirm. But we needed it, so we reviewed it.
So you want to hold off and?
Well, we already did that. I just wanna just
Okay.
get clarification. I mean, it's okay, we wanna accept it. I just wanna get clarification on how the money is being paid, so we can manage it downstairs, manage and prepare for it. That's all.
We're trying to do less reimbursable access when it
Correct.
comes to these sewer grants. Because we don't have the cash flow to cover these type of expenditures. Okay, number 7.
Number 7, Department of Recreation, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with the County of Westchester for funding the fun-filled summer park activation program, July 1st, 2025 through August 31st, 2025.
So moved.
Second,
On the question? Hearing none, roll call.
Comptroller Morton,
aye.
Council President Brown,
Aye.
Mayor Patterson Howard.
Aye.
Number 8, Department of Public Safety, an ordinance authorizing the acceptance of the donation of 157 Safe Life Defense Tactical Vest Carriers from and related patches from the Mount Vernon Police Foundation.
So moved.
Second,
On the question? Hearing none, roll call.
Comptroller Morton,
aye.
Council President Brown,
Aye.
Mayor Patterson Howard.
Aye. Just want to thank the Mount Vernon Police Foundation for donating these defense tactical vest carriers and the patches that go on them. These are very important to help with the public safety. I know we've also received in the last year or 2 motorcycles for our bike unit from the Mount Vernon Police Foundation. So we're appreciative of their continued support. And I know they did another donation where they did some capital upgrades to the detective division over in the police department. So, amazing partnership, and we really appreciate what they do. And I just wanted to appreciate them on the record. Next.
Number 9, Department of Management Services, an ordinance authorizing the retroactive award of the Dell VX Rail Support Contract to Soft Choice and approving payment from ARPA funds.
So moved.
Second,
On the question?
okay, so this is the item that was held the last meeting.
Mm-hmm.
Because of the method by which it was procured. So what's the update on that?
As far as the federal government accepting the purchase order, they're fine with it, but I think the issue is our procurement process and this not following our procurement process because the acceptance is coming after the PO was issued.
And what's it actually for? So Dell VX Rail Support Contract. Soft choice approved payments. What does that do? What's the actual?
The contract is for the support functions for the,
Purchase order.
so I'm sorry, the purchase order is for the support services for the environment. So they provide the technical support, any problems, troubleshooting type of support for us.
Okay. This will approved by the the council approved it though, right?
Yes, council.
And there were several VX Rail things that we were approving, correct? Is that?
Not for this go around, but it is a very convoluted environment. There are other things associated with it. Yes.
Okay. Because I just remember something for VX Rail having been approved before, and so
We,
I, not knowing that it was one or same or separate or,
this is for the hardware support. What we had previously approved was for the software for the actual VxRail software. That's a different company. Also, last year, we did do a stopgap approval until we can get the RFP approved or posted.
okay, so any directive, because I know there was like, okay, I gave a directive to go forward, so my directive was based on understanding that, and I'll own that, right, was based on understanding that we were doing stuff with VX Rail already. I thought this was something that went before the council before because VX Rail had been, and I know you'd gone before the council and spoken about VX Rail and that there was just some type of a change.
Mhm.
And this was also something that we were trying to get done by ARPA. So there was so many moving pieces happening with ARPA, making sure that we were obligating funds, doing the technology needed and things of that nature. So I'll own it if it's my mistake. And I gave you approval before something went through council, but with all the VX Rail stuff that was happening, my assumption, and my apologies for not drilling down probably during a Christmas week or something around that, was that I empowered you to do something that may not have gone through the proper or did not go through the proper procurement process. Again, feeling that it was already something that had gone before the council when we were having the conversation. Because I know I'd signed off on VX Rail stuff on this, so I just didn't drill down far enough on something on my behalf. So it does not violate ARPA. We've obligated it. What are we gonna do? How are we gonna move forward? How is it corrected?
I don't know, but the council approved it, so, but. You call, I guess, the roll call, I guess.
Roll call?
Comptroller Morton,
Nay.
Council President Brown,
Aye.
Mayor Patterson Howard.
Aye.
Right. Moving on, DPW's request for authorization to make partial payments. Number 10, Department of Public Works, a resolution authorizing partial payment number 10 for sewer system cleaning and televising Phase 1 to National Water Main Cleaning Company for $46,080.61.
So moved.
Second.
Huh?
11.
Which one?
10.
Oh, we have 10.
This
Yeah, you-
is number 10.
Right.
Number 10 for payment number.
The partial payment, number 10. Should be partial
This.
payment number 11.
No,
Change.
it changed.
Okay.
You gotta
Gotta update it.
here,
Take one of those so you could.
take this one. Yeah, it changed at 3:05.
All right. Got it.
And this is okay, we on the question?
Did you?
No, moved it. Still moving?
You move? Oh, no.
I think she just read it. Is there a movement
I thought I moved this. So moved.
Second.
on the question?
So, okay, this also is a reimbursement?
Yeah.
WQIP, okay, and how long, those reimbursements?
But WQIP is 60 days. They got a new system, so I'll say probably closer to 90 until they work that out.
What was it, 60 to 90?
90.
It's 90 days.
How close are we to the end of this grant?
That's
think it's one more payment that's coming up, but they're wrapping up to within the next 30 days. That it's on phase one of the project.
Okay, so from the standpoint of, cash flow management, can, you and I guess Raj make sure that y'all create some sort of spreadsheet that kind of lays out when these things have been paid and what that is for? And it's not just for DPW, it's for any, now at this point, based upon how we're dealing with cash flow this year. For anything that is paid out and reimbursed, I want to be able to see that so we can make sure that we can kind of best manage how we are handling our cash and our cash flow and our obligations.
And this one is the WQIP, right? Okay. And I have no problem because, trust me, when I was in the Y, cash flow was a major problem. And there were times that I contacted the state and those agencies and let them know where we were. And they worked with us to expedite those payments. And so I think that's probably just a conversation where we are that I will, approach EFC and have that overall conversation with them and let them know that they're gonna kind of help us with that advance piece that we're able to rotate out of on a non-emergency basis to keep these projects going, or that things are gonna have to stall while we're working on cash flow issues. And I don't think that they wanted to stall. And I think that was the reason in the first place when we got our EFC grants, why they proposed having that kind of money to use as a rotating, not a line of credit, but a rotating place from where we could make our obligations so that we could draw it down back from them. And even though this is QIP as opposed to the 150, it's still all of the same issue, which is water infrastructure. So I will have that conversation. I'll reach out and have that conversation by tomorrow. Roll call.
Comptroller Morton,
Aye.
Council President Brown,
Aye.
Mayor Patterson Howard.
Aye.
Number 11, Department of Public Works, a resolution authorizing partial payment number 11 for sewer system cleaning and televising phase one to National Water Main Cleaning Company, $145,942.76.
So moved.
Aye. Second.
On the question? Same issue as number 10? I would assume.
Yeah.
Okay. And, okay, roll call?
Comptroller Morton,
Aye.
Council President Brown,
Aye.
Mayor Patterson Howard.
Aye. Can I ask a question for number 12? It says payment number 11. Is it supposed to be an adjustment?
It's a different,
Different one?
yeah, one is, system
Oh,
cleaning and
water
this
main-
is system
System
rehab.
rehab, okay.
I asked that question.
Yeah, I was like, it's phase one, National Water Main. I didn't look at the sewer system rehab versus system cleaning. Okay,
Ready?
Good to move on?
yes.
All right. Number 12, Department of Public Works, a resolution authorizing partial payment number 11 for sewer system rehabilitation phase one to National Water Main Cleaning Company, $365,406.45.
So moved.
Second.
On the question? Same issue. Again, and this is even a bigger amount. We're sitting here looking at, more than $500,000 easily, so. Yeah, I'm breathing deep too, sir. So again, I will be on the phone with them first thing tomorrow. Because it's hard to put out money not knowing how quickly it can come back. Okay. Roll call.
Comptroller Morton,
Aye.
Council President Brown,
Aye.
Mayor Patterson Howard.
Aye.
Are we going back to that one?
Yes. If we can go back to number 4.
Read it again. Number 4, Department of Public Works and Ordinance authorizing payment to Petrillo Contracting, Inc. for emergency milling and paving of Buena Vista Drive, $38,000.
So the emergency milling of Bona Vista Drive, we did
Yeah.
not do an emergency declaration.
Yeah, it shouldn't have been, it was an error on my part, so I'll take the blame for that. It should have been a change order request. It was a
Mhm.
joint partnership with Con Edison to repave the other section of the street that was deteriorated. And Con Edison was only responsible for part of it, so it should have been a change order, not an emergency request.
So within the current contract that we have with Petrillo, is there space in here to make this payment?
I have to run the numbers again, but I don't know if you're talking about, I have to check the numbers.
Okay, and in the contract, did we name all of the streets or did we name the streets that we had at that time and also said and various streets?
Various streets.
Every street wasn't named.
It's okay to hold this right now if we don't, while I do some extra.
Okay, I would request that we hold this,
Yeah.
just to make sure that it's not taking us above the contract. I make a motion that we hold number 4. Or I withdraw. What do we have to do? Withdraw it first?
Yeah, I move to withdraw, item number 4 from the floor.
Second.
I move that we hold item number 4.
Do I vote on the first motion?
Okay, vote on roll call.
Comptroller Morton,
Aye.
Council President Brown,
Aye.
Mayor Patterson Howard,
Aye. So I move that we hold number 4 for further information.
Second.
Roll on the question. Hearing none, roll call.
Comptroller Morton,
Aye.
Council President Brown,
Aye.
Mayor Patterson Howard.
Aye. I make a motion that we take numbers 13 through 20 as a gather, as a group.
Yep.
Roll call.
Comptroller Morton,
Aye.
Council President Brown,
Aye.
Mayor Patterson Howard.
Aye.
Okay, so we're gonna take 13 through 20 as a block vote. Okay. Number under salary resolutions, number 13, Fire Department 2022 uniform members, number 14, Fire Department 2022 deputy chiefs, etc. Number 15, Fire Department 2023 uniform members. Number 16, Fire Department 2023 deputy chiefs, etc. Number 17, Fire Department 2024 uniform members. Number 18, Fire Department 2024 deputy chiefs, etc. Number 19, Fire Department 2025 uniformed members. And number 20, Fire Department 2025 deputy chiefs, etc.
So moved.
Second.
I have a question. You just did 4.
Huh?
You did 4
1.
years. What would you say?
The contract itself, there's some years missing, right? It's
Yeah.
it's 22 through 27.
Yeah,
2026, he's gonna do as the overall salary resolution when we do the 26.
And the 27th.
That's why we, salary resolution for the entire city. And the
Okay.
same, 27.
So he's gonna deal with those, okay.
okay, all right.
In the salary resolution, we adopted the thing, the
We
other,
adopted the
Right.
this is
contract.
just the resolution to get us up to present date.
Right.
Okay,
Got it, right,
yeah, because I was just going, hold on.
right.
All righty.
So, any other question?
Mhm.
All right, so just comment. So again, this is contract negotiations. This is a result of contract negotiations and agreement for a 1122 increase progressively in those years. which then means that, just so we're clear, that the salaries in the 2025 budget for the police department actually have been increased by 6%.
For the fire
For the
department?
fire department. that's
Yeah, you
what I
said
said.
police.
Fire department, I'm sorry, fire department has increased by 6%, which equates somewhere to around about, $1.1 million, right? Right, and we're somewhere around about that, so, again, some of that is because there are some vacancies in that and all of that, right? Where that money actually comes from, of course, is from the contingency line for union contracts, right, which is budgeted this year, 1.8, right? Again, that's not, there are 3 other unions, right, that also are now, right now in negotiation. And that will mean that this does impact, one, the present budget, and 2, impacts, future budgets as well, right, with that, as to what that it increases that. And so therefore, we have been having some discussion. We're looking into things, possible options for us if we could potentially provide some sort of incentives for folks that have kind of near retirement or been here for quite some time. Because otherwise, just think about it, that you've got a 6% kind of increase with them on this. But then we also, next year is a 3% increase on what is right now, right? And we always have to try to figure out how to balance that with also trying to stay, as we've heard from the public, stay within the tax cap, right? So I just want to lay that out, that we are looking to some strategies to try to figure out how do we balance this, right? Because these are mandatory kind of obligations at this point, in which is why I wanted us to make sure, and the mayor and I discussed this, to make sure that we try to stay as up to date as possible with these collective bargaining agreements, right? Especially given the fact that we don't have a fund balance to pull that money from that would be in a committed kind of category. For this.
The other 3 collective bargaining units, their contracts went through 2023, I believe, correct? 2023 or 2024?
No,
Only went through
2023, they
2023.
were behind, I think, last year. So I think it's 2023,
So we would only have 1 year of retro
1 year retro,
for all of the other,
if we saw them this year.
if we solve them this year. Okay. All right. And I know that we are constantly scouring the list. One of the things that we did a few years ago was offer an incentive for fire, for that early retirement option. And we've had a few people take advantage, and I believe this year, I know that there is another few that are taking advantage. So it didn't come all at once, but it's been coming in.
Hopefully it'll come in a little better than it has, because it didn't yield what they kind of thought it would yield. Fortunately.
So roll call?
Comptroller Morton,
Aye.
Council President Brown,
Aye.
Mayor Patterson Howard.
Aye.
Now, under settlements, number 21, settlement of the claim of Geico General Insurance Company, ASO Nelsida Armand.
So moved.
Second.
On the question? Hearing none, roll call?
Comptroller Morton,
Aye.
Council President Brown,
Abstention.
Mayor Patterson Howard,
Aye.
You didn't receive this information?
Yeah, so it's the same thing as the other.
Wasn't that sent with,
I think,
wasn't that sent with Dion's thing on Friday?
exactly.
Yes, so the request was that we talk about it with council so that we can get legal to answer any questions with council, so that I can know how they would like to vote. So I had the opportunity to read it, but I haven't had the opportunity to see what council wants to do.
So the law department, okay, so the law department needs to be sending those things to the council before the council meeting?
We're
Sounds
hoping,
like that.
yeah, well,
What happens with settlements is that when we get them, we send them out. There's no set time they come in. Because it depends on whoever the plaintiff is, they give the information. So typically, once everything comes in and Dion gets it, she posts it or sends it out.
Did this one come in on Wednesday?
I don't think it came in Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Yeah, Wednesday was the council.
Council meeting
So you're saying it came in after Wednesday?
came down. I asked for Wednesday. That's my-
Is there a time sensitive date that it needs to pass? Is there a tight restriction date on this?
Not necessarily. It's just whenever the other side gives us back, as we do all the settlement papers, when they give us back everything,
So then
sometime they,
there's, I mean, I know sometimes they come in with like a date certain that we have to pay it by. This one is not one of those.
correct.
So then can we hold it so that it can go before the council? In their meeting next week, because the council meets next week?
Yeah. Let me make sure.
Yeah. If y'all choose to do it.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah. No, I
As long
mean,
as it's not needed before the next Board of Estimates meeting, because then the reality is, right? Right, that we then miss a date and
Right.
it can cause a problem. So I think that we gotta better strategize to make sure that if there is something that is pressing, that has to be voted on before comes in after the council meeting, but has to be voted on by the Board of Estimates. What we always will do is if we needed to do a special, but if it can make the regular one, then it has to be put on that agenda, but that has to be articulated to the council president, because then at best case scenario, then she need to poll them so that they are aware of it, but we've got to make a decision on it. Now, this is from the risk management perspective, right? We can't prolong that.
Correct.
But however, if it's not, like in this case, then it should be put on the next agenda and not on this one. And I think Dion needs to kind of know that, so she doesn't send those out that don't need to come. She sends them out to us so that it ends up on the council's agenda. And then they can do what they need to do, and then it ends up on ours.
We'll do one form.
and does it need to go on the council agenda for a formal vote, or does it?
No, we
need to
don't get
go on
involved.
council?
We can,
So
do
y'all
an
can do
executive
the
session.
discussion?
Yeah.
Okay. So I just wanted to make sure that this is not a part of the regular agenda, but it's just part of, like you said, the information, and so you know how to vote. Okay. So can we withdraw the motion? And you said this is not date specific.
Correct.
Okay,
Yep.
I move to withdraw.
Second,
roll call.
Controller Morton,
aye.
Council President.
Question, you already voted on it?
Yeah.
No, we didn't finish.
You didn't finish.
We-
Okay.
You got the mayor's, you recorded the mayor's vote?
Yeah,
You did?
I recorded
Oh.
everybody's vote.
So then I move to reconsider. I
Second,
voted in favor for it, right?
Mhm.
second,
To reconsider.
Mm-hmm.
Controller Morton,
Aye.
Council President Brown,
aye.
Mayor Patterson Howard,
Aye.
and now to withdraw.
So now, well, no,
No,
not
hold it.
withdraw it now, I move to hold it.
Oh, second, yes, yeah.
Right,
The question, roll call,
thank you.
no question, just roll call.
Controller Morton,
Aye.
Council President Brown,
Aye.
Mayor Patterson Howard.
Aye.
Under tax review settlements, number 22. Consent order and judgment for AMC Realty Group, Inc., 74 McQuestion Parkway South, $45,209.03.
So moved.
I'm sorry, second,
On the question,
which item is that?
22.
It was a different amount.
Calculation, the initial calculation was incorrect.
I was gonna say, cause that's the one that we inquired about, that said, is somebody right?
Yes.
Okay. Cause I'm looking at the higher number, and I was getting ready to ask you, did we clarify that?
Yes.
Okay.
That's good news.
Yeah. Yeah, and so when we looked at it, it just didn't add up, but we were like, the math ain't mathing. All right, I'm with you, got you.
Roll call?
To Controller Morton,
Aye.
Council President Brown,
Aye.
Mayor Patterson Howard.
Aye.
Number 23, order and judgment and notice of entry for Agnes and Ferdinando Damiano, $1,954.99.
Sound like me at the,
I know. When you were reading the names.
so moved.
Second,
On the question? On the question, are you able to vote on this or
Yeah,
did you
these are-
not get this?
No,
Okay.
these are tax settlements, okay.
All righty. There's no question, roll call?
Controller Morton,
aye.
Council President Brown,
Aye.
Mayor Patterson Howard.
Aye.
That concludes the agenda.
1, 2, 5. Motion to adjourn?
Sure, move to adjourn this meeting.
Oh,
Second,
you didn't have it.
no, I don't think I had anything today.
All righty. Roll call.
Controller Morton,
Aye.
Council President Brown,
Aye.
Mayor Patterson Howard.
Aye.